Good evening, everyone. Let me just get you all, sorry, close your eyes if you suffer from motion sickness. Just make sure my camera's all in the right spot. Hello, everyone. It is so good to be back. It seems like forever since I've done a live, so just bear with me. My words will probably come out all mumbled and jumbled, but I'm here and I can't wait to show you what I have been creating. Colour Inspiration Challenge number 136 has kicked off for the year, and this was the colour palette that we were given, and it's just an amazing like, it's so soft and it's so calming and it's romantic and it's shabby chic, and let's just say I loved it. And I loved the card I created, which is it did go up on Facebook, but this is the card that I created. It uses the framed florets bundle, and it also uses the Birdhouse Dies. And this card was created for a very special person who has a birthday coming up at the end of the month, and the lovely lady actually created a card a little while ago using the Birdhouse dies and the coordinating stamp set, and I said, oh, I think I'm going to need that in my life. So therefore I created a card using the dies just for her. Behind the top layer here, I've used the distressed gold specialty paper, and I've cut the bird cage out of that as well. The new sparklies here are the iridescent, because that's just come out of the new iridescent pastel gems. And you get a gold, you get, I think that's balmy blue, and this is a I can never think of this name. Coral. Help me up, someone. What's that color called? Anyway, I told you I'd get all my stuff all mixed up. What did we say? Anyway, all good. So for this, I have done a little bit of prep work first. I'll move that out the road. We don't need that. I have done a little bit of prep first, so we just wouldn't take so much time. But Framed Florets is a photopolymer stamp set, and it has these wonderful matching dies that have these beautiful frames, and then it also has framelets that will cut out most of the images, and then it also has these standalone dies that you can add design elements to your card fronts. The Birdhouse dies, now this one comes with, again, framelets that will cut out stamped images, as well as standalone dies that you can use again for your adding different bits and pieces. Okay, so those are the two main bundles that we're using. I also want to just let you know that I'm not sure whether you can see it, but in the background here, I've inked very, very gently some little polka dots. And to do that, what I went and did is run the dots and spots die through my cut and emboss machine with a piece of window sheet. And that, it's really hard to see on camera, but that has given me my very own stencil. Now, if you don't have window sheet, you could use packaging as long as it's not too thick. You could even use cardstock, but the cardstock will eventually disintegrate. And I kind of wanted to keep this for more than one use. So I used window sheet / acetate. So that'll come in handy for future projects, I am sure. But in saying that, at some point in history, Stampin' Up! Did have their own masks. So if you have one of these in your stash somewhere, you can just grab it out and use that, I guess. By all means, it's just a closer polka dot pattern than the spots and dots die. So, but yes, by all means, grab that one out and use it. Okay. Hello, Sharon, Calypso Sharon, thank you. I can never remember. For some reason, I must still have a little bit of COVID brain, I think. Okay, now because we're using photopolymer stamps, I recommend you get out your piercing mat or some other type of cushioning, because photopolymer stamps don't have their cushion like the red rubber stamps do. So to get a clearer image, I highly recommend some sort of cushioning in underneath while you're stamping. Ink pads, these are the colors of the challenge, and I then also use my Versamark to gold emboss my images. Excuse me. You'll need your water painter, a blending brush, and your snips, believe it or not. So those are the tools we need. Let me go through the little bits and pieces of cardstock that we need. You'll need a couple of scraps to stamp and heat emboss your images. That's Shimmery White. I've used Shimmery White because we're actually going to be doing some watercolouring. Hi Glenda, nice of you to come along. And Lisa, hi Lisa, thanks for joining me tonight. I'm kind of a little bit nervous tonight because it's been so long since I've actually done a live, and it's like, oh my word, hope I don't forget anything. But anyway, it is what it is. A piece of Shimmery White, which is your top layer of your card. This is the piece of, that measures, so I've trimmed that down. I've trimmed the Shimmery White down so that it measures 3/4 of an inch less on two sides than the card front. Okay, for those of you who use centimeters, I think that's about two centimeters. All right. I have a piece of the distressed gold specialty paper, and because I'm a bit of a frugal crafter, what I've gone and done is die cut my cage out of the center of it. No one will see it once you put your Shimmery White on top. And that is like a teeny tiny 1/8 of an inch larger than the piece of Shimmery White. So you just need to step it up just a little bit. I actually don't work with definite measurements because my card fronts are actually custom. We we use A4 here in Australia, but I like crafting in inches, so therefore my card bases are my own measurements. So therefore when I show you my layers, it's all about cutting it down less on two sides to give you your layers once you get them all together. Okay, right, and you'll also need a piece, if you're going to use Sahara sand as your card base. I've actually pulled out a piece of shimmery white, and I want to maybe just see how it looks before I glue everything down. Might just change it up a little bit tonight. But if you're using the Sahara sand card base, I suggest you get just trim down a piece of shimmery white as your inner, and that will go on the inside. And once again, that's just a teeny tiny 1/8 of an inch or 1/2 centimetre if you like. It's less than 1/2 centimetre, because 1/2 centimetre is more like 1/4 of an inch, but it's a teeny tiny border that you get when you glue that in. Okay, so that's for that. Now, and I also want you to grab, well, I'm going to use, let me see if I can find where is it? I'm going to use my my mat, my silicone mat, for my gluing. So I need to just have that somewhere where I can find it again. Now, I personally like to do all the fiddly bits before I put my card together, have everything all ready to go so I can just glue it down and add it to the top of my card as I work. So what I've gone and done is I've heat embossed my images in gold. So you stamp it in Versamark first. Make sure you use your embossing buddy to just powder up your cardstock, and that way it'll stop any embossing powder sticking where you don't want it to stick. So for my card, well, for the front of my card, I've got 3 of the larger flowers, 2 of the smaller, 3 of the foliage images, and then on the inside I've also got a larger flower with some foliage as well. When I did mine, I actually stamped out a few extra, because what happens with this, when you die cut, it's like, if you're a little bit fussy in how things look, sometimes your dies move as you're going through with your machine, and things don't line up properly. So you can just pick out the better ones then. So I stamped a heap, I heat embossed a heap, and I coloured a heap. But these are for, I'll show you how I did my watercolouring. And these are the ones that I did earlier. I did a heap, as you can see. So we'll put all them, use most of those on my card. So I'll put that over there somewhere where I won't lose them. To my right, ladies, okay, remember that. All my little bits and pieces are on my right. All right, I don't need that because I've done my stamping. Watercolouring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of colour. Smush my clear block into my ink pad and just pick up the tiniest little bit of colour. Might just go green here. Doing your lighter colours first is probably a better idea. That way you don't contaminate your your light ink pads with any darker ink. And these pens actually have like a water barrel that you can add water in, but I personally don't like using them that way. I'd rather have a jar of water that I can dip my brush into. I feel like I've got a little bit more control with my water painting if I do it that way. And I've also got a paper towel. So I've got a jar of water in front of me. And what I like to do is just add a little bit of water over the image first, pick up some colour, and you're literally just slapping it down. Honest to goodness. All right, when that dries a little bit more, because if I was to try and add more color now, it'll just blend out. So what I'm going to do is let that dry, and then where the petals have kind of turned back over, I will add a little bit more color around those edges just to give it a little bit of shadow. All right, oops, hang on. Add some water. It's probably a bit much there. Add some color. All right, there's nothing special. All right, the smaller ones I've colored in the Sahara sand. All right, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're showing watercoloring, and it's done it again. It's a relaxed coloring technique, so don't stress. All right, no stress allowed. All right, so these ones over here look as though they're a little bit dry now, so I'm going to pick up a little bit of colour, and then where it's, just add a little bit of colour, blend a little bit of colour where the petals have turned back. Just so it looks as though there's a bit of a shadow, and maybe in here in the center, add a little bit. And then if there's a tiny little bit of color, just so they're not, there's a little bit of color there on that shimmery white. And again, pick up some color, and we'll go where those petals have turned back. I'll turn my cardstock around so it's easier for me to work. A little bit of color in the middle. Okay, I might just add a little bit more colour to the centre now that these have dried a little bit. There we go. And the leaves, now the leaves, I honestly, oh hang on, I actually blended my colours a lot on the leaves. I tried not to go over the gold embossing too much. Water first. It's not a big deal if you don't add the water first. Your cardstock will just grab the colour, that's all. All right, so there you go. Nice and easy, nice and relaxed, all right? Nothing stressful about it. Just ink and water. So that's that done. I don't need to actually die cut those out, but I will keep them for later on. All right, the next thing I like, oops, I'm gonna put that out the road so I don't get ink everywhere, because I can see what's gonna happen there. All right. So now I want to get my mask, get my Sahara sand. If there was enough there, I would use what's there, but I don't have enough there. I put some ink onto the lid of my ink pad, and if you kind of want to go down in a diagonal, top left to bottom right, and very lightly, start lightly, because you can always add more, but you can't take it away. All right, just let me take off some of that. All right, you can lift it up and check. I think that's very, very subtle, because you don't want to overpower everything else. All right, so really, really subtle. I don't know whether you can quite pick that up. And then while we've got this happening, we'll get the piece for the inside, and we'll do the same again, except we won't go fully in a diagonal. We'll just put a little bit here and a little bit up here. Just lift it up if you want to. I think I've moved that, so it's there now. Cool. So that's done. And that's done. Put that away. We can put that away. So that's the inside. Don't lose that. Now to distress, I don't know if you guys actually know this technique, but I want to distress the edges of my piece of cardstock here. So all I'm going to do is take the blade, you hold it here where they crisscross, and just run the scissors down the edges. Now it doesn't matter, like it might actually cut the paper, but I wouldn't worry too much, because that just adds to all the distressing. Right, I might just, these corners need a little bit more, I think. Cool. Yeah, Lisa, give it a go. It's like really easy. And I will say this though, I love doing it when I've embossed my images, because the embossing actually holds the color within the image, if you understand. because sometimes you can watercolor and you think, oh, that's spread out too much or something, but by having your images embossed, the color tends to like the embossing holds that color there. So I don't do it enough. I love the effect that you get with it. I just don't do it enough. All right, to grunge this up just a little bit more, to add a little bit more shabbiness to it, I'm going to get my my brush, and we're just going to add a little bit of ink. I need to not take it off my, I really don't like using putting my blending brushes on the surface of my ink pads. I just think that over time you're going to damage the ink pads. So there we go. All right, so that's that done as well. That's that. Put my snips away, we don't need them anymore. All right, so now we're going to start gluing. We'll flip this over. And always remember that cardstock has two sides. All right, so if you're doing some stenciling and you don't like how it's kind of worked out on one side, flip it over and go again. All right. So what's going to happen is that you're going to have this tiny, tiny little layer of gold behind that top layer. And I love using Tombow because it just gives me that little bit of wriggle time that that you get. Okay, now somewhere in my stash over here I have, this is my glue sponge. When I'm gluing little tiny intricate dies like this, what I like to do is put some Tombow up here in the corner, get my glue sponge, and we're going to sponge, oops, the glue. There we go, and we're going to take that out the road. I've got so much stuff in front of me, guys. Unbelievable. Oh, 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 oh. That's just... Whoops, no. All right. Very, very gently, because it is quite delicate. Start at the bottom. This has gone a bit skew-if. And because there's not a great deal of glue on there, it doesn't ooze out from underneath. All right, oh, and I've got glue, oh. So don't do what I did. I've actually got glue, I put glue all over that, and silly me, should have only kept it to the edges. So now it's sticking everywhere, but that's okay. We'll just be careful. Right, now it's time to get our flowers, arrange all our flowers and leaves and everything. I also like to just manipulate my flowers a little bit so it's got a little bit of dimension. And what we'll do later is we'll add a, whoops, sorry guys, oops, sorry. We'll need to I'll put some mini dimensionals underneath. one more. I like to do odd numbers. Right. Something like that. Get some glue. So what I'll do is I'll just add a little bit of glue in the middle. Put that down. Welcome to anyone who's new here tonight. Thank you so much for coming along and watching. And again, just twist your leaves a little bit before you put your glue on, preferably. Oh, my fingers are sticky. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to get my mini dimensionals, and they are just here, and I'll get my take a pick tool, and what I'm going to do is add dimensionals underneath the petals, underneath the flowers where they're just raised up a bit. And because if you're going to post it in the mail, they will probably flatten by the time you get there. And that has stuck down again. Ugh. Silly me. Oh, for some reason my comments have stalled, so if there's anyone saying anything, I'm so sorry. What's happened? What have I got happening here? Yep, one under here. One under here. And we'll put one, that one's there, one under here. Do I need, let me put one under that leaf. And maybe, is there one under there? Yes, there is one under there. And one under here. Whoop, go in, tuck under there. There we go. All right. So you've got, just bear with me guys, I need to plug in my phone. I didn't realize that my battery was low. All right, so let me see if I can show you. There's all those dimensionals now underneath underneath the flowers and the leaves, and that will, like I said, that will just hold it up. So right, okay, so this card I put onto a Sahara sand base, and I did get out my Sahara sand, so that's the Sahara sand again. But I just wondered whether I should do a shimmery white one again. And I don't mind that. I think I will do that. It just makes it pop a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. And I need my big dimensionals now. And I'm going to add quite a few dimensionals here. Anyone who comes to my classes know I always tell them use plenty of dimensionals. We don't like saggy bits. You come to a stage in your life where the less sag the better. Hee hee. So I actually use quite a few dimensionals on my cards. And another trick I like to do is to add a little bit of glue, because this will allow you to get your layer exactly where you need it to be. Alright, so there is glue absolutely everywhere. So there we go. Where are my bling? My embellishments are over here, and I'm going to use the goldy colours once more. So these come, you got two, when you buy this packet, you've got two sizes, a large and a smaller one. These are so pretty. And the iridescence just pulls all the colours in together. Now, I kind of want this to go over here, I think, like that. So that's the front of your card. I'll keep those for another project. Now, I haven't actually put a like a sentiment or a greeting on the front. And I do that quite a lot with my cards. That way, if whoever's getting it, the recipient might like to put it in a frame or something, you know, like, and you don't want too much on the front of it. And you can keep it out for longer if there's no greeting on it. All right, so we're going to now pretty much just put this in the corner. Oops. Moving around way too much. And we will put that there like so. And there you have it. Oh, please don't stick. All right. All right, let me clear up a bit and I will show you the two cards, the two versions. So we have the one that I created for Colour Inspirations. We've got the two greens, Blushing Bride and Sahara Sand with the touch of gold. And then there's just the plain shimmery white one as the card base, using the Sahara Sand and Blushing Bride on the flowers and the two greens then on the leaves. So that's what we got there. I don't know how much the light is picking up all that, but there we go. Let me see if I can try and find where I am on my Facebook page and see if I can see if there was any questions. Hello Diane, thank you so much for coming along. It's good to see you here. And no, it's not going to show. For some reason, it's not going to show all my comments. So, never mind. That's fine. I hope you've enjoyed that. If there's any questions, I will happily answer them if you leave them in the comments. And I just want to also say that my classes will be starting up again. If you're local to me in the Bundaberg Bargara area, I have classes starting up again. I think it'll be like around that third weekend in February, and I try and schedule them for that third weekend of the month, each month, depending on what's happening with Easter. Of course, we need to work around that, and school holidays, because I do have a few mums that are teachers, so I need to work in with them as well. So, but yes, and I think that's just about it. Celebration is happening. If you don't know what that is the biggest, most exciting sale that Stampin' Up have every year. Spend $90 or levels of $90, and there's a catalogue that you can choose free product from, depending on, there's level 1 $90, and I think there's a couple in there that if you spend $180 you can also add that level 2 product. So that's what's happening here at the moment, and there's quite a few exciting joining offers as well happening. So that's really, and there always is for celebration around this time of year. So that's it. Thank you everyone for popping in, and oh Vicky, I'm so sorry. Oh gosh, and I'm just finishing up too. Oh dang it. Never mind, you'll have to watch the replay. Vicky, have you got your settings set that you receive all notifications from my page? I don't know how it works, and Facebook is really complicated at the moment. It changes and then they changes back, and you never know from one week to the next how it's going to work. So thank you, Lisa. I like it too, and I hope my recipient, my friend, will like it. I'm sure she will. I don't think she's here tonight. She's busy with a new puppy, so she's probably already gone to bed, I would say. That. Oh no, I'm not sure what's happening with her, but anyway, all good. I'm waffling now, so it's time to go. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for watching tonight, and I plan to be back next week. Isn't that exciting? Okay, bye for now.